I grew up with 6 brothers and sisters. My family taught me everything to know about my faith, to pray 5 times a day, to recycle the Quran, to be a good person, how to do everything that is right, how to fast the month of Ramadan and how to do all of that. But something always inside of me, it was empty, and I was terrified of dying and going to hell. And my grandmother used to tell me stories: if you're not a very good person, and if you don't pray 5 times a day, and you don't fast the month of Ramadan, if you don't lie, if you don't cheat, if you don't do all those things, someday when you meet your Creator, you meet Allah, the things is going to weigh in the scale, bad and good. And if the bad things weighs higher than the good things, then you're going to go to hell. And I was terrified of what's hell, going to be burned like fire. And that was always a fear inside of me. I didn't want it to die. When I was 16, I was fixed with a man from my country. He was a Muslim who came to look for a bride. And he asked for my hand, and my family arranged the marriage. And 2 weeks later, I had a huge wedding. 2 months later, the man who promised me a wonderful life, he promised me a moon, he ripped out everything away, and he started abusing me emotionally in the beginning. I felt empty, and I felt alone, and not having no one, leaving everything behind. I started searching for something bigger than me. I thought maybe I'd been a bad person, and that Allah is mad at me, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to really search for my faith. And I started wearing the hijab and praying 5 times a day, and wanted really to have God maybe not to be angry with me, not to be so far away from me. The more I seek my faith, and the more I prayed, and the more things start going bad to worse. And then one day I was pregnant with my son. I met this girl in the city bus. Her name was Robin, and she reached out to me immediately. She just started talking to me, not immediately about Christ, but just being my friend. I was really desperate to have a friend. And then I found out that she was a Christian, and she telling me about this Jesus and how much he loves me and how much he cares about me, and that he died for me on the cross. And then I says, no way, you can't, that God never had a son. Don't even talk to me about that. And I says, I'm a Muslim and I do not change. If you wanted to be my friend, should be my friend, but don't try to convert me. And I remember very clearly, she said that to me. She says, I cannot convert you. Only God himself can convert you. And but I saw something that really attracted me to her. Just her gentleness, her love. And I wanted to be like her, but I didn't want to change my faith, because, that was not what I've been taught, And then after my son was 3 weeks old, my husband really started gambling and drinking, and became more violent and depressed. And through that, it became really abusive. And one night, he just beat me so bad that I ended up in the hospital. And I spent 3 months in rehab and surgery, and not knowing, nobody visited me, nobody ever came to see me. They didn't even know where my baby was. And then the nurse brought me a social worker who spoke French and translated for me, told me my right, and told me that my baby's okay, brought him to see me. And then after a while I was in the hospital, I phoned Robin, and I says, Robin, would you come and help me? And she says, I'll be right there. She was there in 4 hours. She didn't even own a car. She borrowed a car. And Robin helped me. And she, when I did get out from the hospital, I moved with her. She was a poor missionary. She didn't have very much money. She had $2. She gave me $1. She gave me her bed. She slept on the floor. She really, truly showed me the love of Christ. And those things, her action and her love, that made me that I desire something about this girl is different. After I had my own place, I phoned my family. And I told him that I wanted to come home. And my father, he gave me the best advice, I think now, but at that time it was the worst advice a teenager can hear. He says, why don't you make a life for yourself and stay and study? And you can't come home. It's a shame for women to be divorced, to have a child. What are you going to do? And I felt so rejected and so alone. I drank some bottle of pills of painkillers that I had left over. And I tried to commit suicide. I lay down in the couch, and Robin, she felt this urge from God. She should come and visit me immediately. And then she came, and she saved my life. And I went to the hospital, and they pumped my stomach, and then the psychiatrist came to help me, but he didn't speak French, and he didn't know how to help me. But Robin brought me a Bible in jail, and she brought it to me, and she told me about this Jesus, because so many times, twice, that she's been praying for me, and the church has been praying for me, and this God has saved my life, and He's been, answering her